kidding. It is SportsCenter, but I lost my voice. Before you get excited, I do have enough in the tank to break down Shedeur Sanders' electric slide down the draft and what the Bucks do now that Dame time is up. But first, we're going to start with a key warrior. Will Jimmy Butler go to battle? We're waiting to see if he's going to be hooping in Game 4 against the Rockets. You'll remember that he suffered a pelvic contusion on a pretty hard fall in the Warriors' Game 2 loss and missed Saturday's Game 3 win. Butler, a game-time decision with Golden State leading this series 2-1. For much more on Jimmy Buckets, we bring in our guy on the scene as our Warriors reporter, Young-Masuk, and we already know that the Warriors were able to win without him, but certainly they'd prefer to have him on the court. So what's the status for his game time availability?
To go with your Quiet Storm vibe, I saw Jimmy Butler was listening to some Luther Vandross. He posted on his Instagram story the other day, never too much. The Warriors could use him here and now tonight for Game 4. Jimmy Butler participated in a light walkthrough this morning, and ESPN's Shams Charania is reporting that sources are telling the Warriors are expecting Jimmy Butler to suit up tonight. They are obviously up 2-1 and were able to win Game 3 without him. And I asked Steph Curry, hey, what did you learn about this team winning a playoff game without him? And he said, look, we know guys can step up and have that next man mentality, but we're trying to win 14 more here. And we're going to need Jimmy to do that. Yeah, you certainly are. And I know you had an opportunity, to sit down with Steph Curry because we know that championship window is starting to close. How has he said that Jimmy Butler has impacted that? Shortly after they acquired Jimmy Butler, they were in the locker room in Utah. Steph Curry turned to Draymond Green and said, this is it. This is the last ride. And Draymond told me he looked at Steph and saw tears trickling down his face. The emotion of the moment had hit them that this is going to be the last ride for the championship window. Not talking about this playoff run as their last run, but all three stars are aligned under contract for another 2 years. And that championship window now is those 2 more years after this playoff run. Draymond said, we understood that the team was saying, we believe in you. And here is Jimmy Butler to try and get that win. And Steph had said, look, Draymond and I have been through everything, all the battles in 13 years. We're obviously trying to create that magic one more time. We just don't know how realistic it is, how many more championships we can have. So they are obviously going after it now. Yeah, they're 24-8 without Jimmy Butler, 1-1 without him. You're the best. You could say 1,000 reports from you is never too much. And I don't want to stop, but I have to because we've got to move on. So thank you, Ahead on SportsCenter. Go back to the NBA, though, yeah? Where the Lakers were one of 4 teams yesterday to fall into a 3-1 series hole. LA, led by 12 in the third quarter, let it slip away. Jaden McDaniels hits a 3 with 39 seconds left, steals the ensuing inbounds pass, lifts the Wolves to a 3-point win. Anthony Edwards had 43 points and 2 late free throws to offset Luka Doncic's 38 points. We're joined now by our good friend of the program, PTI's Michael Wilbon, who is out there in San Francisco right now. And I know you know this, Wilbon, but JJ Redick, Lakers head coach, he's getting some criticism for playing his starters for the entire second half. What's your take?
It's a calculated risk that I understood in real time, him taking that risk. I mean, at one point he has a 10-point lead and he's trying to close. And how do you do that best in the postseason? You keep your stars on the floor. At least that's the gamble. I'm old enough to have covered some guys named Johnson, Irvin, and Jordan Michael when they played, and they would tell their coaches, Pat Riley and Phil Jackson, particularly in the postseason, no, leave me on the floor. The timeouts are twice as long in the postseason. You can rest then. You pick your spots on offense to rest, and you leave the stars on the floor, and you look at the times played by those guys, and it's reflected. Well, when you've got LeBron James out there and Luka Doncic, you're betting on that. I realize LeBron is a little older than Magic and Michael were then, but the same principle applies. Doesn't mean you're going to win the bet. JJ Redick lost the bet. I understood him leaving him out there. And LeBron, quite frankly, made 3 sterling defensive plays when he was supposed to be, gassed and tired. But I will say this, L, because you go back and forth on this. It's difficult. Kendrick Perkins convinced me last night and earlier today listening to him that, LeBron's production has been way down in the second half. Something like 17 points per game in the first halves to like half that in the second half. Shooting percentage down 61 to under 40 in the second half. that's a convincing argument. And even then, if you're JJ Redick, you may still make the bet with a lead and at home to leave LeBron on the road, to leave LeBron James out there particularly, and Luka. But, this is what people were talking about with Luka Doncic. Is he going to be in the kind of condition that allows him to play at peak level during the playoffs? When you're paying a guy $350 million, which is upcoming, that's what you want from your biggest stars. You don't want to have to go to your bench if you can avoid it. But I get the gamble JJ Redick took. Did it work? No.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it wasn't just that game, though. It's been all of them. The Wolves have outscored the Lakers in the fourth quarter in every single one of these games by 36 total points. Another team that finds themselves, Will Bond, in a 3-1 hole, the Bucks. And now, of course, word that guard Damian Lillard has torn his left Achilles tendon in their blowout loss to the Pacers last night. He will have surgery. He's owed $54 million next year, and he has a player option for 2026-27. He'll be 36 years old. What do you think this injury means for Dame and Milwaukee moving forward?
Wow. I mean, just for Dame, I just feel for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he certainly, I don't want to say took a risk, because that word may be too strong, but he certainly sacrificed in saying, no, I don't want to sit. Despite the blood clotting condition, I want to play. And he came back and did that, which is sort of what we all expect given who Dame Lillard has been in his career. But then to have this, and let's face it, the Bucks have been unraveled, by injuries since winning that championship in 2021. Giannis has been injured, 3 different times in the playoffs. Now you get Dame Lillard. Middleton was injured during the playoffs. And so the Bucks, where do they go from here? Probably starting over. Or if not starting over, a big change on the fly. It's just difficult to see the phrase or hear the phrase running it back when you've had this many injuries and you're not going to have Dame Lillard next season. I mean, even the best of times is a 9-month injury, even though the Achilles, it doesn't necessarily end a career. It certainly slows it. It interrupts it. You're not going to come back in 3 to 6 months. It's going to be 9 to 12 months. That misses the season. So now what? What do you do when you have a $56 million, I think you said, salary cap counting against you? What do you do for Giannis? Does he want to put up with that rebuild? A lot of questions, and I have a hard time thinking there are any easy or definitive answers that if you're a Bucks fan that you'd want to hear right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's tough. You took about this particular series with the Pacers. The thing that's standing out to me is that they have no defensive answer for this younger Pacers team, and they were hoping to fight fire with fire by having Dame in there. Obviously, that's not an option at this point. The other series that went 3-1 yesterday, Jason Tatum, 37 points in a 107-98 win over the Magic. Only Larry Bird has more 30-point playoff games than Tatum. Jaylen Brown added another 21 points, had 11 boards. And by the way, they're hurt. Tatum's been dealing with a wrist injury and Brown a knee issue. And then you got the Knicks. Clutch shooting from Karl Anthony Towns. He was in fuego down the stretch. Jalen Brunson also. And they rallied past the Pistons 94-93. Got a little help from the refs, self-admittedly. Towns with that long go-ahead 3 with 46 seconds left. Detroit wanted a foul on Tim Hardaway's 3 attempt at the buzzer, but that did not come until after the fact when it was too late. Knicks starters right now, Will Bond, averaging 37 or more minutes each in this series. How important is it for New York to take care of business and close it out tomorrow to Miss G?
Important, not imperative. I'm not going to call it a must game. And we just saw him win 2 in Detroit, right? So It's not a must game. But, when you point out those minutes played and what we just saw with these injuries, you want to get these series over with as quickly as you can. You don't want to have extra minutes. You don't want to have a game extra as 40 maybe, the way those guys are playing on the Knicks. You certainly don't want to have a second extra game. You don't want to have between 40 and 80 minutes you have to play when you've got another series, you hope, coming up against the defending champions. So I would think the Knicks would want to get this over with at home, get some rest. Jalen Brunson, why risk any more time on that ankle? As great as he's been, and Jalen Brunson has been terrific. I stupidly said last week that we were going to look back and maybe think that Cade Cunningham was going to be the best player in this series. Wrong, loud wrong I was, because Jalen Brunson is that player. We saw it last year until he got injured. We're seeing it right now. He's doing it through injury again, and I hope it doesn't have to go through any more injury than he's already got. but the Knicks would want to finish this thing as quickly as they can.
You know, we started out the segment talking about a Lakers team playing a ton of minutes and how they tend to disappear down the stretch. Jalen Brunson plays a ton of minutes, but he's averaging over 13 points in the fourth quarter in this series. And if that continues, Wilbon, he'll be the first player that we've seen do that in the final frame of a series since Kobe in 2008. Michael Wilbon, don't you go anywhere. We're going to see you back in just a minute.
What's your favorite team? Comment below, and if you liked the video, please leave a like. This really helps the channel grow and brings you even more content. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and activate the bell to receive all notifications. With each game, we notice that the NBA is getting more competitive every day, and all the teams are looking for reinforcements to win the championship. And only here can you follow your favorite team daily with incredible content from different sources. Here on the channel, there are new videos every day with analysis, curiosities, and the best moments in basketball. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for following along. The NBA doesn't stop, and neither do we. Until the next video. NBA, the passion that connects us.